Hello again, and welcome to the Flyin podcast. My name is Matt Mitchell, here with my host Stephen Masley,
What's up, guys?
and we are jumping into week 2 against the Minnesota Vikings. So we're just going to jump right into it and tell you what we think. So Masley, what do we got going on? Give us some
So
details.
I want us to start off with a little bit of the game. I'm going to say, who's that quarterback? I'm going to give you a guy that is a great quarterback and a guy that's people call him mid. So, two stat lines. One, 4,000 yards, 4,407 yards, 36 touchdowns, and 15 interceptions. That's one stat line. Other stat line, 4,221 yards, 33 touchdowns, and 7 interceptions. Which one is Kirk Cousins?
I'm guessing the better one.
The one with less interceptions. You know who the other one is, Matt Mitchell?
Here's the other one, Maz.
Joshua Allen. Kind of crazy.
It is kind of crazy. People really underrate Kirk Cousins. He's not the bad
What I
quarterback
want
that
to
people
start out
think he
with
is.
is just Kirk Cousins is, as much as people want to say, not a top 10 quarterback. He just performs and he's a solid piece on that team. He's a solid quarterback in the NFL. He's a staple there's a reason he's getting paid and other quarterbacks don't have a contract. And
Exactly.
he's a solid piece of that team, and that's the leader of their offense. And I don't know how this game's going to go well for the Eagles. Kirk Cousins is a decent quarterback, and the Vikings had an amazing win against the Packers last week.
Yeah, they're definitely a scary team. It's going to be a big determining factor on how the Eagles season is going to go against some of these better teams. I think that the Vikings are at least off of what I saw last week, are in the upper echelon of the league in terms of, caliber. They'll probably be a playoff team this year. And like you said, Kirk Cousins tends to get underrated. He's never really been a bad quarterback. He's never been, I've never looked at him and thought that he was a top 5 quarterback. But like you said, last year he came in and threw, what was it, 4,300 yards?
Yeah, 4,200, but a little
4,200.
Yeah.
List off his stats again for me.
4,221 yards, 33 touchdowns, and 7 interceptions.
Okay, so he threw 33 touchdowns and 7 interceptions. That's pretty impressive. And on top of that, I mean, you got to look at the guys that he's thrown to. He's got great targets. He's got Justin Jefferson, obviously. He's got KJ Osborne. He's got Irv Smith. He's got a Dalvin Cook. He's got a lot of ways to spread the ball around.
And the guy that's going to perform the best, I think, for the Vikings is going to be Adam Thielen. Watch out for him.
Adam Thielen's he's a sleeper, dude. I mean, Adam Thielen
last game, but just
listen, Adam Thielen is the kind of player that is not going to produce every game, but he will be that consistent go-to guy that will get you what you need. So, Adam Thielen last season had 67 receptions for 726 yards and 10 touchdowns in 13 games. 13 games, he ended up with those stats. It's not stellar, but it's very, very good. To put it in comparison, the year the Eagles won the Super Bowl, Alshon Jeffrey was our best receiver, and he had very similar stats.
Yeah.
So I think Adam Thielen is going to be a dark horse on their team. He's going to be, I almost guarantee you, he's going to end up with a red zone touchdown. I just have a feeling. He's that go-to red zone guy. He's like their old, like the Eagles' old Jason Avant. He's that guy that they can throw to on third down. That's going to get the catch. That's going to get open. He's going to be consistent, run good routes. So he's going to be a tough cover. But I like the fact that we have Bradbury on him. So it'll at least add, some safety.
So jumping right into the Eagles and how they're going to approach this game. I think if they play anything like last game, we get blown out. And that's defensively and offensively. I know we scored a lot of points, but this defense is way better. They have Darius Smith, Patrick Peterson, and I think the best safety in NFL in Harrison Smith. And Harrison Smith, he already has a pick this season in his first game against Aaron Rodgers. And he's great over the top. And I'm scared that I think he's going to pick off Hurts this game. I don't know why I say that, but I don't want Hurts to do it. And I just didn't like how our offensive line honestly, I didn't like how our offensive line looked last game. Looking back at the game, there was a reason he was running so much, and they got a lot of pressure on us. And I know their D line is not great, the Lions, and that's what most scares me. I know like we shouldn't be scared about that, but that's what scares me the most, honestly, in this game.
Yeah, I mean that's understandable. I personally, I don't fully agree. I think that the Eagles' offense is going to be just fine. I think that we're going to play our same game. I'm hoping that we run the ball more often. I want to see Miles Sanders get at the very least, 15 touches.
That'd be great.
And I think that our offense is going to be fine. Now, the defense concerns, obviously, we've talked about this. Obviously, the Vikings are a much better offense than the Lions were. So if we play the same game that we played last week, you are correct. We will not win this game. So my keys to the game, once again, are pretty much the same as last week. We need to blitz more often. We need to get to Kirk Cousins. Our pressure needs to get there, and we need to be on top of it. I want to see Jordan Davis in the game. Not crazy more, but a little bit more. I want to see some more snaps from him. I want to see him in on rundown situations. I don't need to see him on the field for pass rush. We can have guys like Cox and Hargrave in for that. Get him on the field on situational running downs.
Yeah.
And just, have him in there clogging up the middle. And lastly, obviously the Vikings have maybe the best receiver in the league that will always hurt Eagles fans' hearts in Justin
Jalen
Jefferson.
Oh, sorry.
Yes, that's the one.
That's the one.
So Justin Jefferson last season had 108 targets for 1,616 yards, 10 touchdowns in 17 games. So he played a full season, had 1,600 yards. Last game, obviously, he came out and demolished the Packers with 2 touchdowns and 184 yards. He's slowly looking like he's the best receiver in the league. So obviously he's going to be a problem for the Eagles coverage and secondary. But what I want to see is obviously I would like to see Slay shadowing him. And on top of Slay shadowing him, I'd really like to see Chauncey Gardner-Johnson shadowing him as well. At least be lining up on the same side as the field of him. Because Epps is a solid tackler. He plays with a lot of heart. He moves around the field a lot. But he really is questionable in coverage. And I do not want him being the safety help for Justin Jefferson. Yeah. I want a more experienced guy in Chauncey back there, giving Slay his help if he needs it. We've got Bradbury on the other side. I believe in Bradbury's ability to cover guys like Thielen and KJ Osborne. So my big thing that I want to see is I want to see Chauncey and Darius Slay always lining up on the same side as Justin Jefferson.
Those are great points. And I'm going to go off that saying my keys to the game are we got to minimize Justin Jefferson. There's no taking him out of the game completely, but we have to minimize his production. And if he doesn't get a touchdown and under 100 yards, I think that's a win in the game. First off, minimize him. Second off, our defense really has to step up. And I guarantee you, Matt, we're going to be coming here Monday when we record this or Tuesday because it's the Monday night game. And we're gonna like how the defense played. I think it's going to be way better. I think they're going to step up. They're hearing all the noise, and I think that's only going to fire them up, especially at home. And the first game and at the Link, the atmosphere is it's hard to play in. And as much as I like Kirk Cousins, which I just said, his primetime record is 8-17. He does not do well in primetime games. He hasn't played well in the playoffs as much, and he's not in big environments. He crumbles under pressure. He trends to. And I really want the defense to step up. I want to minimize Justin Jefferson. I want to kill Kirk Cousins. I want to see Hassan Reddick put him so far in his butt that he wants to throw it away every single time. I want to see Jonathan Gannon blitz, like you said. I want to see him do more with this defense because we have the personnel, and it just makes me so angry. I want to see Dean in Jonathan Gannon. Listen to me, Jonathan. Put Dean in the game. Like, we drafted him in the 3rd round. I know, but he's not a 3rd round pick. And if he's fully healthy, put him in the game. I want to see us tackle. And we were 31st according to Pro Football Focus. I hate that stupid stats, but we were 31st in tackling last game. We didn't practice tackling all offseason, and I want to see us make tackles, easy tackles. We should be able to do it. That's what I want to see. I want to see this defense step up, and I need it. I need it, Matt. I need it.
Yeah, man, I agree with you. I think that what you're saying is right. I think that the defense is going to have a better game than it did against the Lions. I think that the pressure of, being on Monday Night Football, having these top tier targets around, for Kirk Cousins to go to, I think that it's going to step up the Eagles to a level of, success. And like you said, we have the personnel to start blitzing. Jonathan Gannon really needs to start mixing up the personnel way more often. I am worried about Jonathan Gannon because I was excited going into this season considering the personnel that we have and the creativity that he could have used. And I didn't see it last game at all. He looked like the same old Jonathan Gannon from last year. He runs the lax coverages in the back, and he doesn't blitz a whole lot. He doesn't give a whole lot of pressure. So it's only the first game. I'm not freaking out yet, but it's not a trend that I like to see. I really want Jonathan Gannon to, switch up the game plan and just start throwing random things at him. I don't care if it doesn't work. If it doesn't work, you don't do it again.
Yeah.
I want to see different formations. I want to see a mix of things,
So I was listening to Sports Talk Radio all week, and a big point they came up with was, and I couldn't find a quote, I'm sorry, guys, but he said during his press conference, he hinted that Howie is basically in the game planning room and like watching over / people took it a little bit farther and saying Howie's like too much involvement with the defense and is trying to force upon his ideals into it. And if that's the case, which we saw in the past that Jeffrey Lurie and Howie like to have like Doug Peterson, they want to have their little puppet show because they don't want anyone having more power than them. And that's the only thing that scares me is if Howie's too involved and he's the GM, his pure job is to get players, and then you hired people to get them to play the right spots.
Everybody has a job, and everyone should be doing their own job. Like you said, we've seen this before from Howie. We've seen it from Lurie. We don't know what kind of truth is behind it or not, but we know that this has been rumored for many years that they try to get involved. And at this point, I feel like it's hard to believe that they're not doing this.
Yeah.
So, I don't know if this is, Gannon kind of trying to deflect the blame, or
it could be,
or if this is really the truth or not. But I don't care who's listening. I don't care if it's Howie. I don't care if it's Gannon. Somebody needs to make a change, and they just need to they just need to change up the personnel. It's very simple, and we just need to run more blitzes. Like it doesn't need to be every damn play, just run a blitz,
It doesn't need to be every drive, but
exactly.
You got to establish it.
We should be running about like 15, 20 blitzes a game, I feel like.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if what the snap count would be with that, I might be exaggerating a little bit, but you get my point. We should
yeah, that's a lot of blitzes.
Yeah. You get my point though, So and another thing that we haven't mentioned yet, that I'm really worried about is this run game. We played not Dalvin, I'm sorry. We played
DeAndre Swift.
Played DeAndre Swift and Jamal Williams last week, and we let Swift run for 155 yards or 145 yards. And we've got a guy like Dalvin Cook out there this week, I think that he's probably better than Swift. We'll see how Swift turns out. He's still young. But
still young. That's a point to it. He's still a second year in the league. Like that's like Dalvin's a proven player.
Dalvin is a proven player, and he's most likely a top 3 running back in the league. So last season, Dalvin Cook played 13 games and started all 13. So he was out for a few. In those games, he rushed the ball for 249 times for 1,159 yards and 6 touchdowns.
1,100, dude, in 13 games.
In 13 games.
That's crazy. Like,
it's scary, dude, especially considering
scary.
the way we played against the run game last week. So not only did you say, if we play the same way we did last week, we're going to lose this game. But if we play the exact same way we did last week with Dalvin Cook and the Vikings, we're going to get blown out.
We're going to get murdered.
So, this has to be a focal point of stopping the run game. And it's hard because, when you got the Vikings and they've got so many different pieces, it's hard to game plan for because you want to shut down Justin Jefferson. You want to shut down Kirk Cousins. You want to shut down Dalvin Cook. But you can't just shut down everyone. That's not how it's going to go. So, to me, I think the most important thing is to shut down the run game based off of last week. I wouldn't be happy about it, but if Justin Jefferson went off for another 200 yards and a touchdown, but we shut down the run game and win the game,
if we win,
fine by me. Yeah, if we win.
If we win, it's fine.
If we lose, I'm going to be pretty pissed regardless of how it happened. I'm going to be mad coming in off a loss.
Yeah,
because I think that we should win this game. I mean, should is iffy.
Vegas has us favored. I mean, I think
that we're a top 5 roster in the league. I don't think that there's many teams that should be favored over us.
Yeah, especially at home.
That's a good point. This is our first game of the season at home. It's good. That's going to take a big, it's going to be a big factor in this game for sure.
Yeah.
Prime time, Philadelphia, first game of the season. It's going to be popping.
All right, so let's go into how this game's going to go. Let's go final score and how this game's going to play out quarter by quarter. Go into your crystal ball.
Well, I think that the Eagles are going to come out hot, but I don't think they're going to be able to stop the Vikings early on. I think that they're going to go into halftime around the same score, probably. I'm thinking 24-24-ish.
At halftime?
At halftime. I think it's going to be a high-scoring game. I think that both sides have a high-scoring offense, and I think that their defenses, I think that the Vikings have a good defense, but I think that they're both questionable with letting up a lot of yards. However, I saw what they did against the Vikings last week. Hard to say. Packers. Yeah, I'm an idiot.
That's okay.
A lot of things to think about here. But
yeah, you're good. Keep going.
Yeah, I'm thinking 24-24 at halftime, and I'm thinking the final score is going to be 34-31 for the Eagles. So
you're saying they both score 24 points in the first half, and then they get a touchdown each and maybe a field goal after.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. You think the second half's going to be that low scoring?
Mm-hmm.
I think the complete opposite of you. And wait, who's winning?
I've got the Eagles winning 34-31.
34-31. I think it's going to be a slow start for both teams. I think we're both going to just trade off punts back and forth to start. I think it's going to be 10-7 Vikings at half. I think it's going to be very low scoring. I think our defense steps up. And then this is where you're not going to like me. This is where I don't like myself. But this is my prediction. I think it's going to be Vikings in the second half. And in the fourth quarter, they're going to run away with it. And it's just going to be very frustrating to watch. I think it's going to be – I think they don't do it all game. And our offense is stagnant. And I think our offense being too stagnant makes our defense be on the field too much. And I believe that this hurts me to say. I don't want to say this, but I said it before the season. I'm going to say it now. I think it's going to be 24-17. The Vikings are going to take this game. And
hey, man, don't be afraid.
I don't want it to happen. I hope I'm wrong. And I think it's going to be a little too easy for them in the second half, in the fourth quarter. And we're just going to, and I'm just nervous about. So one other point I want to make is the way that Jalen Hurts target AJ Brown. I love how that's a safety blanket. But when you have Harrison Smith over top like that, and you're just looking at him as your safety blanket, he's going to pick that off. Like, he needs to get Devonta Smith. He's getting involved more. Goddard needs to get involved more. And like you said earlier, we need to run the ball. We need to establish the run. And we have to establish the run with our running backs. I know we ran the ball of Hurts, and that's just him escaping. We need to establish the run so we can get play action plays. And then if A.J. Brown can take guys with him, and then Goddard and Smith can do their thing.
Listen. I understand. I know what you're saying. The run game is would literally open up everything. I think more than half of Hurts's runs last week were off of scrambles. So they're not run plays. They're pass plays that got broken up.
Exactly.
And we I don't know, man. It opens up everything. The run game opens up everything. It'll open up play actions. It'll open up read options. It'll open up the you've got guys like A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith that can open up the field. The middle of the field is available. The safeties are going to be playing back. I think it's so simple. I think there was a trend last year that in the beginning of the season, we weren't running the ball much and we didn't win a lot of games. Then we started running the ball, became the number one running team in the league, and we started winning games. I really don't think it's rocket science.
It's not rocket science, man. It's not rocket science.
It is not. It shouldn't be. It shouldn't be.
Sirianni thinks it is because he's
he likes to think it out. A little bit too far.
Play call in week 7 last year is because he wants to oversee everything. AK, I cannot call a run play because I'm too scared to. But
all right, so off of that, we're gonna jump right into our picks for the week.
So honestly, we both got the backdoor cover for the Chargers on Thursday Night Football. That was a win for both of us.
So I'm sitting at what am I sitting at? 2-4 or 2-3?
2-3. And I'm sitting at 3-2. Flip flop. But this weekend's big. We both have 3 picks, and you can maybe get. I mean, I hope you win. I hope I win too. I hope we all win.
Yeah, man. It would be nice, wouldn't it?
It would be nice if we just both keep our records up.
Right. But that being said, let's hear your picks for the week.
So my dog this week is going to be the Panthers. They're 2-point underdogs at the Giants. I believe that the Giants didn't play that well, and it was all Saquon last week. And while he can do a lot, I think this one gets the Giants, and they didn't deserve that win last week. I think Robbie Anderson does well in that game, and with Baker, and I think Panthers money line is going to be my first underdog. My second pick is going to be the Broncos to kill the Texans. I'm taking them -10. I'm taking them to the bank, and I'm taking Russell Wilson to have a bounce back game. Their first game was awful against the Seahawks. They got it to the 1-yard line countless times and didn't get in. I think they step up and they finally find their groove and get an enormous win. And my last and final pick is going to be I had 2 picks, and I'm fading the Seahawks, and I'm going to 49ers -9. I am taking the Niners to have a bounce back game against a team that I don't think is good, and Geno Smith's not good. And even though they did lose to the Bears, Shanahan will correct this offense, and they will have way better weather in San Francisco than they did in that crap show against the Bears.
Okay.
So 2 big favorites and a little underdog for you.
I like it. I'm not going to do anything too crazy this week. I'm going to start out with one that I think should be easy, but they played a good game last week, so we'll see. My first pick, I'm going to be taking the Colts over the Jaguars. The Jaguars will be the Jaguars. They were a 1-win team last year. I think the Colts looked pretty good last week. They kind of, choked at the end, but we'll see how that goes. I think they should win that game. For my underdog pick, I'm going to go with the Saints over the Buccaneers.
They own them. They
do own them. The Saints consistently own the Bucs. Tom Brady's obviously old and stinky. What can I say about the guy? And
not that he's the goat or anything. Not that how many rings?
It doesn't matter. It's irrelevant.
Relevant 7 rings.
But there's also a chance. This kind of hurts my heart because he's on my fantasy team. But there's a chance that Leonard Fournette may not play. So I'm just going to go with the Saints on this one. They're going to be my dog. And for my last pick, I'm going to go against the bummy Cowboys on this one, and I'm going to take the Bengals. Obviously, the Cowboys lost Dak Prescott last week. They're going to be playing with Cooper Rush. Even with Dak Prescott, they really didn't look all that great off the bat. They looked a little sluggish and slow. So did the Bengals, but I think that they're going to have a bounce-back game, and I think they're going to kill the Cowboys.
Okay. You heard it here, folks, guys. Here first, guys. Oh my gosh, I cannot talk.
We're struggling today, man.
Dude, this is recorded in the morning. I mean,
it's bright and early. Give us a break, you know.
Bright and early, just for you, you beautiful looking human beings to watch us.
But all right, man. This has been another episode of Flyin in Style. We're gonna be watching the Vikings game on Monday night. So I'm your host, Matt Mitchell, with your host, Steven Masley. I'm not sure what that was, but we will see you again next week for our recap of the game. So thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you soon.
I love you guys.